Okay, I'm getting on Captain Cupcake, and his mom was right. He didn't do it much, but he did screw around one day at the mounting block. So let's see what he does today at the new place. All right, I always tighten up the girth away from the mounting block, and then if I'm going to do it here, I might move the mounting block because then they don't like to stand still. So see him move. So let's. So he knows how to sidle up now. So if he moves away, I'm just going to tap with his stick. I don't know if you can see that or not. He's like, Gaye, you annoy me. Okay, so now he's just standing. So let's check the girth again to be annoying. But see, he tried it. The sidling up helps because they don't want to be tapped. Okay, so. And the good thing is I have to get on and off again because we have to open the gate down there. Whoa. And I have to cut a tree down. So I'm going to check the girth. Okay. So we'll tighten the girth up when we get down there. So now we're going to walk off. You see everything still, because we're getting adjusted and building, everything's still just a little bit of a mess here. So he was leaving the barn okay. He was just leaving slow. I like to leave with a forward walk, and then I keep straightening their head because he likes to look around like, what's that? What's over there? See that? So I'm just letting him do that because the camera, so you can see. But if they turn their head, I just straighten it out. He needs to pay attention to me, not the other stuff, especially because I'm walking through pasture. There's uneven ground. So if he's looking to the left, I pull on the right rein. I use a little bit of my right leg. And I straighten them out because otherwise they start tripping because they're not paying any attention to where they're going. And that's normal. It's the same thing if you weren't looking where you're going. You wouldn't pay attention either. Okay, so I'm going to go through this gate. So I thought I should show you this too. Back up. So if he doesn't back up, I just tap him in the knees with my stick. When I'm opening gates and stuff, I don't let them put their head down and eat grass because then they don't know when they should eat grass and when they shouldn't. So if he has to wait for me, he's just standing there even though the grass is right by him. Okay, so that's the hard part. People go, oh, it's okay, let him eat the grass. And I go, yeah. And then when he eats the grass when you're on him, guess what? It's not his fault. He doesn't know the difference. Okay, he's like, I don't know, sometimes they let me eat grass, sometimes they don't. I'm gonna try it. Horses are horses, and that's what some people don't get. They go, oh, he'll make the right decision. No, he won't. He'll make a horse decision. So the horse decision is what's right for him, and that is food. So if he has the opportunity, he's gonna eat food. If he wants to go home, people go, well, he'll make the right decision. He'll slow down. No, he'll make the right decision for him, which is run home. If I run home, I see my friends faster and I get my food faster, right? So all of you think like he's going to do the right thing, or he's going to do it because he loves me, or he's going to do it because I saw it on Black Beauty. That's just a fairy tale. That's not how it is in the real world. Maybe some horses will, but that's the rarity. So you got to make them want to do it for you. That's when they get the reward. They don't get the reward when they do the wrong thing. So reward the right thing, do not reward the wrong thing. And there needs to be a consequence when they do the wrong thing, because if there's not, they won't know it's wrong. So you just gotta, you don't have to beat your horse up. You just gotta make it uncomfortable, make it unpleasant. He runs home, you lock him up in a stall with no food for hours. He doesn't get to see his friends. Guess what? He won't want to run home, especially if he's with another horse. So you just got to kind of think things out. I say this stuff all the time, but maybe the different ways I say it will help you. So, and I'm not talking about this owner or anything. I'm just talking about all owners. So he sees the lake down there. He's like, what the hell is that? Hope Gaye doesn't make me cross that. But you got to give your horse rules, and you got to teach them manners so they have an idea of what they're supposed to do. Okay? And so if they won't stand still, you got to make them. You got to give them a consequence. Which way you want to go? Do you want to go right or left? See? And you're like, you just told me you got to go which way. So I'm thinking he doesn't have shoes on. I'm going to go to the left because there's less rocks this way. Now see, look in the footing, looks a little bit different here because there's squirrel holes underneath it. It's okay. So I know he's 8, he's looking, so I'm just giving him the time. If he really doesn't get it, I'll get off and walk because he's pretty brave, so I can help him. And lots of people say, just take the higher road or go somewhere else. Well, I will if it becomes very difficult, but I'd rather. So I tapped him a little bit with my stick. I'd rather try to help him get over it. So we're just going to sit here for a bit while I talk to you guys. Again, when your horse is doing the wrong thing, say they take off. Well, if they take off and that bit gets jammed up in the roof of their mouth and it feels uncomfortable, they won't want to take off. But if they take off, there's no consequence. You have a little snaffle in their mouth, you have no control. They pull on you for a mile and then they get to go home after that. Well, guess what? They're going to keep taking off and bolting and more. So you got to make it uncomfortable. They take off. You saw with the other horses, you know, for the ones that were bolting, I have a bigger bit. Then if they're really bad, I might slide that bit really quick across their tongue to make it very uncomfortable. You'll hear me saying that, like half halt with one hand and then with the other when they're aiming towards the barn. And good job, buddy. You just got to get 1 foot sometimes, and then we'll see what happens. So he's got 1 foot forward, and then we'll try it. But you got to make it uncomfortable so they don't want to do that thing, you know. And so, but you got to do it in the right situation. You have to think it out. Your horse takes off when all the other horses take off. Well, you could try being first, or you tell everybody like, hey, I'm going to get a little behind you and let me get cantering first. And then when you guys canter off, I want you to canter off slowly. Don't take off like a bat out of hell because that starts a competition. Now you see he's still having a problem, but I know he's a baby. So we tried long enough while I was talking to you. Now it's time for me to help this horse. And it's not called, I'm going to beat him into submission. That's not how I do it. So we're just going to walk. So if he sees me step on it, you know, he's got a lake. Who knows if this horse has ever seen a lake before? And now you got to come over here. So he doesn't want to step on this path for some reason. Come here. Good boy. So again, when he steps on it, he doesn't die. Then they're like, oh, maybe the path is okay. So this is his first time out here. I had to videotape him. But see, he's like, because you're falling, Gaye, because you're walking backwards. Good job. But he just, you know, maybe he's not seen dirt this color. It's orange. You know, he's from the beach. There's sand there. He's like, yeah. Okay. But this part to start is a little rocky, so let me get him over it. And this way he gets a little used to this path. And then we're going to get back on right up here. And maybe you can see those pretty flowers. Okay, so let's try and get back on and see if he moves. The lake is over on our right. Good job. You okay? I don't know. I don't know if I'm okay, Gaye. Okay. So if he was to walk off, I would back him up. And I might do it again and again until he stands still. If you're with other riders, they have to stand and wait. If they start walking off while you're trying to get on, most all horses would walk off and follow them because they're hurt. They don't want to be left. So that's a problem with who you're riding with, not so much the horse all the time. So you'll see he's kind of a little iffy out here by himself. Sometimes the trees look funny to him because anything could jump out. They can't see it, right? So this usually makes the horses more nervous because you're thinking like a horse, oh, a predator could be hiding in a tree. You know, maybe some weirdo's hiding in a tree, jump out and scare me. So you just never know. So you want your rein short. I keep them a couple of inches up in front of the horn. If they're behind the horn, then when you go to pull, you won't have far enough to pull to stop the horse. So you got to make them short enough and just keep your arms out in front of you so you're not pulling on them except for steering. When I steer, I just pull the hands side to side, which you might see. And in these videos, my hands always look like they're going like this. They're not. I actually hold them still, but they do move with the horse. I'm not making them move. So don't think you have to move your arms up and down or pump them. I do that, but my motion is going with the horse. Okay? So now we're going to make them walk out a little bit because they want to walk slow and go back home. So we want them to walk out a little bit, give them a jog, and give them something to do with that nervous energy that they have. Okay? And then you'll see I'm just pulling side to side to guide him, and I'm looking all around. I'm the leader up here, and I'm looking for anything scary so I can help him or prepare him or get him off the trail if a biker or something is going to go by. And that's what I'm doing. And then I'm balancing myself to help him go up and down these hills. They're to carry us, but they're not to make up for our imbalance. So you want to learn to balance yourself. If you can't balance yourself, get a yoga ball, start practicing. Lots of people fall off, not because the horse does something horrible, maybe jump sideways or something, but it did something a horse does. And the person has bad balance, so they just fall off. Or you're top heavy, so you have a big belly or you have big breast, you know, that's much harder because you have more weight up top. Those people without those things, it's much easier for them to balance themselves because they don't have that extra weight. You know, think if you had a 10-pound bowling ball that you're holding on as you're riding, it's going to pull you forward. So those people, you have to lean back more. You have to lean back extra far to make up for that extra weight. And so you got to be able to do that. I've seen very heavy people, or people you think were out of shape, very good riders, because they know how to balance themselves and they know where to shift their weight to help them. So these are not bad rocks, but still, we'll see he's barefoot and it might make him sore. Okay? So anybody's barefoot, I tell them, you know, be ready to put shoes on or have boots because you just don't know, and I can't train them if they're sore. Okay? So everybody's footing is different, so you got to make sure the horse can do the footing. Now again, he's a little funny here, so I'm going to let him look for a couple seconds. Again, he'll turn his head side to side. If he doesn't start turning his head the other way, then I know it's not a big deal and it's time to go. He's like, oh, I better turn my head the other way. Now he just started to go because he looked and he was like, oh, I can go. Now he got scared again. Now he's a pretty good trail horse from what I hear at the other place. But this, again, is new to him. So you might get a sales horse and you're like, geez, it looks so good on the videos, but it's not so good here. Well, it might look different. Good boy. Good job. So I want him to go, so, what a good boy. What a good boy. You did such a good job. Now I'm careful because a bike could come up right here around the blind corner. So I'm going to pet him and walk off so I can see. Good job. What a good boy. And I want him to know he did a good job, right? Good job, buddy. He's such a brave horse. Reward him when he does something for you, when he tries. That's all they can do is try, just like us when we're at our new job. I can try. I don't know if I'll do it right, but I'll try and do it, sure. Those are the best ones, the ones that'll try for you. Okay? So you'll see I'm flat walking him. Trying to warm up, so I'm not doing his rocky gait yet, but I am walking out forward, so you see his head going up and down. And I'm trying to keep his head straight for the most part. You see, he's looking at the rocks, so he's definitely not used to trails like this. Or he hasn't done them in a while because he's looking at it. So, but he's willing and he's going. I suspect from what he already did that when I get to the water, we might have an issue. So we'll see how far we get today. As you're riding these guys, your arms should be pretty relaxed. The Foxtrotters and the Rockies and Kentucky Mountains, some of them you don't have to put as much pressure on their mouth. You just keep a very light contact so they know you're there, so you can steer and you can regulate their gait if you need to. But otherwise, it's a very soft hand. And if you don't know what that means, look at my soft hand video. So with your arms, sometimes people are very tense with their arms. Their hands are, you know, nice, but their arms are tense, and then that's why the horse won't go forward. So with your arms, you want to think if you're in a pool and you were just standing there, or you're floating and you just let your arms go forward. You know, the water's just carrying your arms, and so your arms are relaxed, they're floating. So my arms are just kind of out in front of me, just floating, just nice and easy. He's like, how do I get out of here? That's not our property. Now this is another gully like we just went through, but this one doesn't have some rocks. But look, he's looking at it. I know you have gullies where you are, but who knows? I don't know how he sees. I don't know how his vision is. Do you need glasses? He's like, do you need glasses? So, but he stopped and he's very willing to go. So I'm very willing to let him look. Because again, this is his first ride. In 10 rides, am I going to let him stop here and look? No, then I'm going to get after him. Good job, buddy. Good boy. So he's right down by the grass and he's not trying to eat it either. Good job. Good job. Now this might drive you crazy because it's baby talk, right? What a good boy. What a good boy. They got to hear a difference in your voice. They have to hear some excitement and know that you're really happy with what they did for them to know. If you just go, good job, buddy, they don't know. They don't know if you said, like, go back to the house, get the keys. They just have no idea what you said. So you got to make a big difference. So that was just a little stumble step because of a rock. So if you don't know how horses go barefoot, when they do things like that, that means their foot is a little sore. Now we got a pipe to go over. You think you can do it? He's like, oh shit, I don't know about that. What's that? Oh, that's scary. So we're just gonna stand here and look for a bit, and then we'll try to go over it. Now I have two choices. There's a pipe and there's rocks over there. And I'm choosing the pipe because this horse isn't training, right? So we want to try and get you over everything. Now, if they're really scared of something like this, you got to be ready, because the first time you go over it, they might jump. And if you're not ready for that, you could get launched. And they jump because they don't want to touch it because they think it's going to kill them. So that's why they're jumping over it. Okay, just like puddles. Sometimes they think the puddle's going to kill them. Good job, buddy. But he's standing here. He's trying. Okay. Now, all the other times he walked off by himself, right? He's not walking forward. So I'm going to give him a little bit longer. Okay, so now I'm going to ask him to go forward and see what happens. Now I'm going to look up. You don't look down as the horse is looking down, because he might leap. Now I'm just guiding him with my hands, blocking him with my legs. When he goes to put his head down, I give a little bit, but you got to be ready. You got to sit back. If they jump, of course, you can go on your half seat, but otherwise you're just trying to go with them. Good boy. Now he's almost standing on it, and I'm looking just where you are. I'm looking straight ahead, but I can feel it, and I heard him hit it with his foot. So if he wants to look down, he can. Now you might be like, you're letting him eat grass? Yeah, because I want the pipe to be a good thing. Now I'm not going to let him eat grass in other places, but by here I want this pipe to be a good thing. So hey, you're by the pipe, you get to eat some grass. And he's like, oh my god, I can't believe she let me do that. So now I'm going to ask for some leg. I'm going to put some leg on him and ask him to go, and I'm tapping with my stick very lightly. Now he's kind of on the pipe. He just stepped over it. Good job, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Now again, that could have been a horrible thing. If I would have got there and just beat the hell out of him, he might have reared up, went off the other way. But again, I'm thinking like a horse. Most everybody else thinks like people. Like, just do it. Just get over it. Come on, let's go. We got a ride to go. And then, you know, you guys screw up the horse or scare him, or your friends give you the wrong advice. Take your time. If they really won't go over it, get off, walk over it, I would say 6 times back and forth. And once your horse can do that, then you get on and you ride them over it. Okay? That's how you build trust, and then they understand that when you went over it, didn't kill you. Okay. Can you go faster up the hill? He's like, not really, because I'm looking at the lake. Good boy. Now there, he kind of went up, and he, instead of his rocky gait, he did more of a foxtrot. He pulled that out of the box because that felt more stable for him to get up that trail that way. And that's okay. But just so you know the difference, because they'll do different stuff on different footing. In the end, I want his rocky gait, but if he does that once in a while to keep us safe, or for, you know, the footing at that point, or he's really tired, I'm okay with that stuff. We're not show people here. So this gets a lot of them. This got one of the other horses the other day. See that white thing? You can't tell what it is, and we're not eating now. It's a tree that fell down and all the bark is gone. So to them, they don't know if that's an animal and it's just not moving or what it is. So you'll see him turn his head side to side. I can feel he's a little nervous. He's snorting some, so that means he's breathing, and he's trying to gain access to the smell. Like, is that an animal? And so when you hear him snorting, that's what they're doing, taking deep breaths of that air to see. So now he's not moving his head as much, so I'm going to ask him to go forward. Now as we get closer, he might stop again, and that's okay, because he's being cautious, because that's how they survive. Like, be cautious, don't be stupid. So now he's looking side to side, because as you change your position, this looks different to him. Now he's like, let's get out of here, Gaye. And I'm like, nope. So I just put my left leg on him, and I pulled on the right rein. Now once I get up here, if he wants to see it, I'll let him see it. But he might decide just to walk by. But this is not abnormal. I can feel his heart beating. He is nervous. And now people who know this horse might watch the video and go, he's never had a problem going by a tree. Well, lots of times it's because they're in groups, and the groups go by and they feel safe. Good job, buddy. Good boy. But when they're alone, or they're with a new person, they're just not sure. They're not sure if you're a good leader. They're not sure if they are a good leader. So somebody's got to help him get there. So, you know, same thing. You watch those horses in the videos and you get one and it comes to you, or you even tried the horse. Once you're alone with it, if you're scared and nervous, that horse might be like, I'm not so sure about this person. And they get jumpier and they get spookier because you're spookier than the previous calm person who was riding them. So some of it's, you know, you got to get the horse exposed, but you also have to get relaxed and calm. And if you're too nervous, do not be on their back. That just scares them more. You just hand walk them, see how they react to all the things. Build their trust. This is, you know, young horses, but also old horses that have not been out or not been ridden. I see many brood mares made into riding horses, and they're not very good in the beginning, I can tell you that, because they haven't been exposed. They've been just sitting there popping babies out, right? I mean, she was saddle broke 10 years ago. She must be good. And you're like, no, she was saddle broke, and then she sat there forever for 9 more years or whatever. So guess what? We're at another gully with rocks, and you know who just stopped. Now he's not looking as much. He's like, do I get grass? No, that's only for really scary. So I put a little leg on him and he turned with his head instead of going forward. So I'm giving him a little bit more time, but I'm not going to let him eat grass. So if he tries, I'm just going to slide the bit across his tongue. Now I'm going to add leg. If he doesn't go, I'm tapping him with my stick, which I am doing. Now I can feel him trying, so now I'm going to just stand here for a second and give him a minute. This is the hard part because you get bored. And you still got to pay attention. You can't totally space out or look at your phone. You're not eating the grass. Now he's not going forward, so now I'm tapping. Good job. Now, these things that he's going over that don't look weird, they have pipes underneath them and they have rocks, so it's hollow ground, right? So maybe he fell through dirt before, and that's why he's being cautious, because he can tell, which I can't tell, that you know, there's not so much sorry, I'm looking where I'm going. There's not as much dirt under there to support him, and that might be what's freaking him out. You're okay. You don't seem to like crevices either. Okay, so this is the bridge that, again, I didn't get to really check out so well, so I'm going to try and take him down through the water. So we got to climb over some rocks. You won't see it as I'm on top of it, but as I'm getting there, and he's like, are you sure? Hey, you're a Rocky Mountain horse, you should be able to do this. So it's okay. So you look, the horse isn't going to choose the best path, especially if this is how they're acting, because they don't know how. So I'm going to try and choose somewhere that I see dirt and stone, because otherwise it's mostly stone. Okay, and if I have to, I'm going to get off and help them. Good job. And lean back, put your feet out in front of you. I'll try to help balance. Good boy. Look, now he's going backwards up the hill. Pretty impressive, right? So, good boy. You got to know how to steer backwards if you want to steer forwards, because sometimes this stuff happens. Come on. Come on. He's like, you are crazy and I am scared. It's all right. I got you. What? Don't you know who I am? You still don't believe me. Nice. Okay. You're all right. So his heart's beating. He's scared. He's breathing harder, but it's because he's scared. That's the only reason why. Okay, you want to try first step? This is what happens when nobody climbs these horses. They don't know how to climb. Good boy. There you go. So he just took one step. They stopped. Now, he can go backwards up this stuff pretty well. That's impressive. So if you were looking for a hind end problem, and this horse had a little problem with his stifles, well, guess what? They're stronger, because he can back up on rocks. Good boy. He's like, help me, tree. Help me. So I'm just trying to get one step at a time. So he's not only got the rocks, but he's like, is she going to take me in that water? Good job. Good boy. Now I'm not asking him anymore. He's just going. Good job. Oh, good job. Now again, when you go in the water, you're also looking where you're going in, because you're trying to, you know, there's rocks around here. I don't want him to get stuck, and I'm trying to see where I can get in there. If not, we'll go over there. Okay, so now I'll let him put his head down. to try to see this stuff. Nope. So my reins are long, but you see I can still steer. I'm sitting back. Some of the horses will try to jump this stuff, and it's hard. If they take a big leap like this, you want to go with them and not lean back too far. Good boy. Good job. Good job, buddy. Now I'm going to stop him in the water because he's scared. Come on. Good job. Good boy. And we got to figure out where I went yesterday to get through here. Good boy. Now, you little mouthy. We don't want to hand feed him, but what did I just do? I just hand fed him because he did something really scary. That's what I just came down, those rocks. So he did something really scary. He did it for me, and now he's standing in the water. So we'll still make sure he's not mouthy, but I think you deserve a reward. And it's not like I can throw it in the water and he's going to fish it out. Okay, so now let's go on the other side. He's like, it just keeps getting worse. Okay, now we're going over rocks and places we can't see, and he's got to get us up this. Good boy. If you always ride on the trail, sometimes you need to off-road a little bit, because otherwise this happens. Like, he's petrified not to be on the trail. He's like, I don't get this. So, you know, sometimes you just got to go over trees and other stuff. So if you got to crawl over something on the trail, they're okay with it. Right? Didn't he do phenomenal? You were so good, Captain Cupcake. You did so good. Good boy. And guess what? He's got to go back through that on the way back. Okay. Good job. Okay, now we're going to start going a little bit faster. And now we got flatter and it's more open. You're trying to stay balanced on these Rockies. Be careful with the saddles that push your leg too far forward. You'll see a lot of people riding those, but it's not best for your balance. And they can gate with your leg underneath them. Again, if they're trotty, sit back. If they're pacey, you might want to lean forward a little bit. Now this is okay, but not so smooth, so I just pushed them over with my left leg. Nice cantering, because he probably did that to get up the hills. Okay, but it's not going to build up his back end. Okay, now we're going downhill, so I'm not going to gate here. So this kind of goes up and downhill, so it's going to look a little choppy. Sometimes he's going to be smooth. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit more wiggly back and forth. Now there, I tried not to let him canter. Even though it's nice, I'm trying to build his back end, so I'm going to wait till he's tired. So if it's not smooth, I half halt, I sit back, and then I push with my leg. It feels like he's drifting left, so I push him over with my left leg. Hold his shoulders a little bit. I am tapping him to make him go. He's like, I don't want to go. He's like, he just wants you work. Cross water for her. That's the thing she does. So he's in between cantering and gating, which some of them might do for you. So you're just trying to slide the bit across their tongue when they canter, make it uncomfortable. Don't worry, they'll still canter later. Okay, so now it's going to go downhill and uphill. Downhill makes them pacey, uphill makes them trotty. So depending on your horse, depends what you want to do. But this is also where a pipe is, and it's a gully. So let's see what he does. It's not a big gully, but he got just a little. See, not bad. Okay, now we're going to speed it up again. So leg, sit back, tap twice with my stick. Push off in my left leg. And then I'm looking ahead, listening, watching his ears, because he'll hear things before I will. So again, sometimes he's a little bit too much side to side. He's not pacing, he's just step pacing, but it gets a little wobbly. Okay, I'm gonna walk. Good job. Not great, but okay, your first time on these trails. Now it goes. You're trying to pick the best places to gate. So this goes downhill, so if you guys were all running around on this, you know, your gates are going to be in and out, and I'm trying to make mine good, so I'm going to wait till I'm giving them a break, and then I'm waiting until I get over there, and that's where I'm going to start going faster, because then it goes uphill. See, it goes downhill a little bit here. Horses get afraid of these little water crossings, because they can't always see the water running, and they're like, it's a big black hole. I should jump it. That's what they think. Easy, it's okay. Good job. See him get nervous? And if you let your reins go, sometimes they do jump it and launch you. So I'm going to get a little bit on my thigh just in case. Good boy. Good job. Now he went across it, didn't he? But what did he do? He jumped it. What's they say? When you jump it, you got to go back. Now he jumped it because he don't want to kill himself. I understand why. So I'm going to go back. He's like, I just came from there. I'm going to get my thigh. Good job. Now he didn't jump it as much. Good boy. Now we're going to do it again. Because if I don't fix this when I come back, it's going to be twice as bad. Easy. Easy. Half halt. Easy. Oh, good boy. So guess what? He gets another reward because he was very scared. Good job. He's like, oh, I do get cookies when he does things right. Okay, but if you jump those things every time, you know, your friends might be on your horse not ready for that and they jump it. So it's hard when you're at those things, you're trying to let them look, but if you lean back too far and they leap, sometimes you get thrown backwards off the horse. So you do got to be a little bit like, I'm going to be in my thigh or half seat or what they call 2-point. It's the same thing, to be ready in case they jump it. And then if possible, go back and do it again. If you're getting chased by a bear, a weirdo, outline, something like that, then you just keep going and you work on it at home. Okay, now it is going downhill, so let's give you guys a break for a second. So this looks better. It's a slow incline uphill, so let's try to get his rocky gait. So kind of sit back on my seat bones, add my leg. There, he was going downhill a little bit, so what's he do? He gets pacey. Now he's got it. My reins are just floppy. He just gets faster, but not bad. That was pretty good, but again, it's a little side to side. Now we're going downhill again. Okay, now it goes downhill a lot. Oh. So, what are we gonna do, buddy? He said, you need to get off and give me a break. So, I'm gonna get off, give him a break for a little bit, and then we'll head back. So, I got off of him to give him a break. Again, we're away from home. I'm trying to make it a good thing, so I'm letting him eat grass. His horse had a problem eating grass while she was riding him, so I am getting off to let him eat the grass so he's not confused in the beginning and until we make sure he knows the rules. When I let them eat grass, I bring them over to the grass, I let my reins go loose, and I say okay, or you give them a code word. You don't let them eat grass any other time. So I did the same thing on the ground. I brought him over to it. I said okay. He didn't eat it because he's like, I don't want to piss you off, lady. And so I actually fed him the grass, and now he got the idea. So he's just got to learn that you can eat grass, but there's a code word, and you can only do it when I tell you to do it, okay? But I want him to be happy to be alone. He's comfortable. He's not being a freak or anything, right? He's like, I'm not a freak. He's being a good boy. So we're going to graze for a bit, and then we're going to head back. I want to say something else. This horse was very mouthy in the beginning, so I corrected him. Now if I put my hand under him, see him shake his lip? Good boy. I don't want him to play with my hand because he didn't understand before. He'd just be playing with your hand and being all cute, and then all of a sudden he would bite you. So I got after him pretty good and backed him up and did a bunch of stuff. And so now I test him every once in a while by putting my hand in front of him. Good boy. And that's what he should do. And now it's taken some of his personality away. He's not as funny and stuff. But what you have to realize with them is that you have to correct things first. Then you can slowly bring things back in, but you need to be very strict about it. He's a horse, he really can hurt somebody by biting, can't you? So they're going to have to put signs on his stall and be careful with their friends and all that stuff and not let him play with his mouth with anybody, you know? And that's not forever, but I would say for the next year to be careful with it because otherwise it'll just come right back and then he'll end up biting somebody and it's going to be bad news. So when they bite, you say they lick and then they bite and you're like, well, the licking's cute. You got to fix it first and you might not be able to let them lick or wiggle their lip or any of that stuff anymore. Good boy, right? Because once that starts, they get tempted. It's hard. So correct it and then, you know, slowly bring things back in. But be careful with your friends. Have no feeding signs. Tell people not to feed them. If they won't listen to you, tell him he has an allergy. He's gonna die if he eats something you feed him. But you got to do what you got to do to fix your horse. And people smother them, spoil them, and then they end up like this and they have no rules. Okay, you ready to go back? Okay, let's go back. So I'm heading back towards home. Now this is hard because they get tempted and they want to leave. So again, if your horse likes to walk off, you might want to turn it the other way. I'm all about tempting him and seeing what he's gonna do. but my reins are short. It's not like I got on a loose rein. And now I stand here while I hook my vest up. Good job, buddy. Okay, and now we're going back. So this was an out and back ride because it's pretty darn long and I have to get a lot of horses out. So I can't take hours and hours. I do that on the weekends. Okay, now we're gonna practice our rocky gait. So leg, I like to hit twice so it gives them a code to go. So very light contact. My arms are just kind of floating. My body's just going with them. Now we're going downhill, so I'm going to slow down. So all I did was I didn't even pull on him. I just stopped riding and he came right back to me. Isn't that nice? So if you do that with your horses. Now, he's not a very go-y forward horse. Those horses, it takes much longer. They got to learn. But he's sensitive and pays attention. Oh, and here comes your creek water. So let's see if we did a good job. He still might jump it. You never know. Because we had a little break. What do you think? I'm going to get in my thigh just in case. Oh, what a good boy. What a good boy. Good job, buddy. Good boy. So he did good, but it doesn't mean if he came out with his owner or came out tomorrow, he might go back to jumping it. It takes a while. It takes them time to trust their feet and that you're not trying to kill them. Okay, let's see, I can't tell, I think it goes up, so we're going to go a little faster. Now I'm just going to breathe, and he comes right back down. So now we're going downhill, so I'm slowing down again because he could get on the pacey side and downhill to make them pacey. So if you have a trotty horse, you might want to go down the hill fast. Okay, so now we're back at the bridge. We got to find the path we were on. You know where it was? No. There we go. Alright, so he's like, really? You don't want to go over the bridge? Not yet. This will be a nice path soon after I put all the horses on. Okay, so we're stepping over branches and some other stuff. Good job. I don't know if this is the way we went before or not. I don't think it is because he's looking around. It's all right. Good boy. This is much easier, right? Good boy. Good. Now, I was going to take the easy way, but why do that when you can do something harder? Good boy. And make him go like this. Huh? Shows your rocky jeans and climb up. Good boy. Good job. So much easier that way, huh? But we're also headed home. So now that we're out in the open, he's fine. He's very relaxed. You know, so I think he's used to a little bit more trails like this. But again, he can see everything coming towards him, which of course makes it much easier for the horse. And we're heading home, but he's not being fast or anything like that. He's just looking at the rocks, which a lot of them do because the rocks can look weird. But otherwise quite good. We got some geese. We'll see if they're nice or not. And we got the geese baby, so they could be a little mean. Thank you. Have you ever herded geese before, Captain Cupcake? He's like, not till today. I feel like it was so pretty and peaceful till that lady showed up. Now she's out here all day. Thank you. Oh, a fish just jumped out of the water. Did you see that? like, are you paying attention to where we're going? You're taking me in the lake. There's the trail. Oh, there's something swimming over there. Hang on. You never know if that's a stick or a snake. Well, you know what? Like, we should get out of here. Might be mushy. Okay, it's getting deeper. Good job. I'm gonna have to bring binoculars.